Hello, my name is Luc LaFrance, and I am going to be presenting on why online streaming services have become more popular. For as long as I can remember, my family had been subscribed to cable providers as our primary source of TV entertainment. But it wasn't until a few years ago when my mom canceled our Spectrum cable plan when that streak finally ended. She cited her disdain for the increase in her plan's fees due to unwanted channels being added. Nowadays, I find her streaming her favorite shows using services such as Hulu and HBO Max on a Roku, with no old cables in sight. It appears that a similar trend is occurring for most Americans nationwide. According to the Pew Research Center 2021, the percentage of Americans subscribed to cable and satellite TV services has generally decreased amongst all adult age groups from 2015 to 2021. Additionally, the Streamable 2021 states that by 2021, 80% of Americans had at least one streaming service subscription, which is an increase from 60% in 2016. For such a broad trend occurring in our country, there must be broad reasons for the growth of online streaming, reasons which you yourself or your peers may have switched to online streaming, therefore contributing to the trend, and reasons that are nonetheless important for understanding our potential entertainment investments. And as it turns out, there are reasons. And those reasons I will be going over today are how online streaming services have become more popular due to their greater affordability compared to alternatives, and how they have grown in popularity as a result of responses to the COVID-19 pandemic. So firstly, and probably the most obvious reason, streaming has become more popular due to its better affordability compared to other options. Aside from content, cost is a major consideration by both those subscribed to the streaming services and those who do not own cable or satellite TV. According to Deloitte Insights 2021, 49% of US video service consumers stated that their most likely reason to stop using a paid service would be if its price increased. In addition, the Pew Research Center 2021 shows that a majority of American non-owners of cable and satellite services state that one of their reasons for not having them is due to their expensiveness. Taking this into mind, it would make sense as to why the subscription prices of newer and cheaper services would be more appealing to consumers compared to what they've had before or what they have not had before. Cheaper streaming services have become more attractive while cable and satellite plans have become more expensive over time. To give some context, the 2013 Dollars website states that American cable and television prices from 1983 to 2022 experienced an average inflation rate of 4.37% per year, which is greater than the average annual inflation rate of 2.7% per year. This means that even when taking inflation into account, cable and satellite plans are generally costing more than they have before in the past. These price increases, alongside additional fees, such as equipment and broadcast fees, would explain why Americans would be attracted to individual subscription services such as Netflix, which, as said by the Crimson White 2021, many consumers have been attracted to due to its $8.99 subscription fee, while cable and satellite prices have increased from $50 to $100 per month. Speaking of major services like Netflix, many of you may have been using them more often over the past 2 years. And as it turns out, the pandemic's effects have significantly increased consumer interests in streaming services. As a result of the lockdowns, many people found themselves at home more often, and therefore with more downtime to stream online. As said by the Crimson White 2021, quote, "Several studies have shown that many adults working from home watch TV on their breaks or while they work, and that, quote, with millions stuck at home, streaming services became a lifeline in an otherwise dreary world. I personally remember how me and my mom had much more downtime during the height of COVID in 2020. My schooling became completely online, while my mom's job became completely online as well. And because of that, we found ourselves at home more often, and therefore with more streaming services on our Roku." As the pandemic continued and people continued to stay at home, online streaming grew to compensate for the loss of movie theaters during lockdown. According to The Hollywood Reporter 2021, U.S. theatrical box office sales decreased from $11.4 billion in 2019 to $2.2 billion in 2020, while digital box office sales increased from $20 billion to $26.5 billion. While a $3.9 billion decrease occurred within the US entertainment industry as a whole, there is a general trend of films being distributed digitally to compensate for the sales lost from theaters being shut down during the pandemic. And even as the pandemic has started to decline and movie theaters have begun to reopen, the demand for streaming does not seem to be following suit. As JD Power 2021 states that 79% of surveyed American video streamers say that even after the pandemic, they are, quote, spending the same or more time streaming than they did 6 months ago, earlier before March of 2021. So, to conclude, statistical data has shown an increase in the prominence of online streaming over the past few years. And online streaming has become more popular due to its better affordability compared to other options and due to changes caused by the coronavirus pandemic. The current trends in online streaming growth demonstrate a natural progression that occurs for most forms of technology. Conventional TV may not be going away, but it is becoming considerably more digitalized. Understanding the reason for these trends is important for determining our potential decisions in our investment into entertainment.